Hello, my name is Leo Daly from Sydney, Australia. I'm the son of two devout Catholic parents, but unfortunately, despite their best efforts, their devotion to the Catholic faith didn't really rub off on me. I like the show business side of Catholicism, such as the annual Lourdes procession with its singing and candles. Well, let's face it, all the young boys are pyromaniacs. I love also the annual Corpus Christi procession with the different uniforms and the marching and banners and all that. But I wasn't really interested in the main attraction, who is in the monstrance at the beginning of the parade. When I turned 11, my father died, and around about the same time I was having problems at school and various other problems, and so I became an angry young man. So angry that I told God I hated him. Then, of course, telling God you hate him doesn't stop your problems. So I decided to pray to Our Lady, and it seemed to me that she wasn't helping, so you can guess what I did. I told her I hated her too. Telling God I hated him didn't really upset me that much, but for some reason it really hit me when I said to Our Lady that I hated her. I don't know whether it was because I burnt my last bridge to heaven, or whether she had me by the little finger trying to prepare me for the future. But thanks to Mum and a wonderful priest, Father Tom O'Donovan from Sydney, I made my peace with God and Our Lady, but my heart wasn't really in the faith. Around about 1985, I saw this movie called The Omen, which was about this couple who adopt a child who turns out to be the Antichrist. You may be wondering what on earth that's doing in a Medjugorje testimony. Well, the thing is, it was loosely based on the book of Revelations, and I love to read. So I grabbed the book of Revelations and I read it over and over, trying to figure out who the Antichrist would be, what the number 666 meant and all that sort of thing. Never figured it out. And shortly after that I saw this book called Armageddon. It had all these prophecies about the end of the world. And it covered Nostradamus, the book of Revelations, various other things. And one of the things it included was this little place in Spain called Garabandal, which some of you may have heard of. Shortly after this, Mum and I were having dinner at home, and Mum said, "Oh, our Catholic Women's League has had a talk today about this place in Spain where Our Lady appeared. It's called Garabandal." I nearly fell off my chair. Mum's a no-nonsense Catholic. She's not into end-of-the-world prophecies or things like that. But I didn't say anything. I just listened for a while, and I realised she was into it for the right reasons, you know, returning back to the faith and the sacraments and all that. So we bought a book on Garabandal, and of course I read that many times. Shortly after that, Mum and her group of friends had another speaker. This time it was about a place called Medjugorje. And I didn't find it nearly as dramatic. The messages didn't seem to be quite as dramatic as Garabandal. But looking back since then, I realise messages do pack quite a punch. They're more subtle. And I thought any place which has a priest called Barbaric must be a bit strange. But later on I was to meet this wonderful priest, and his name is actually Barbarich, not Barbaric, and he's a lovely man. Anyway, despite following these two places, my heart wasn't into the faith. It was improving a little bit, but not much. But in 1998 I had a major problem occur, and I said to Our Lady, "Look, if you do a certain thing for me, I promise I'll go to Medjugorje as soon as I can." And of course Our Lady helped to a certain degree, and so I kept the promise. Just after I made the arrangements for the trip, Leon Legrand, who is organising the pilgrimage, he announced that Ivan was coming to Sydney to talk. Ivan's one of the 6 visionaries from Medjugorje. And so, of course, I went along to St Mary's Cathedral. I had previously been to one of his talks, but I didn't really pay that much attention back then. This time I was desperate to listen to everything he had to say. The format of the evening was rosary, with a break for the apparition, mass, Ivan's talk, and then a chance to buy books, etc. So during the break for the apparition, I smelled this beautiful perfume of roses. And I thought, wow, someone's wearing strong perfume, but no one was moving around, and I'd been in a church for a while, so if someone was wearing perfume, I would have noticed it earlier. And as soon as the apparition finished, the smell disappeared, and I never smelt it again. As I mentioned, they were selling books at the end of the evening, and so I bought a book on Medjugorje. Did I tell you I like to read? Anyway, in this book, it said that people do smell the perfume of roses during an apparition. I didn't know that before, so that couldn't have been my imagination. Anyway, 5 days before the trip, I got cold feet. I thought, Leo, you idiot, you're going to be surrounded by religious nuts. You're going to be praying 24 hours a day, and you have enough trouble sitting through a 10-minute rosary. But then I thought, I'd made a promise to Our Lady, and I thought I'll probably kick myself for not going because I miss the chance and maybe never get it again. And of course there's the financial implications of cancelling so late. So I get on the plane, and I'm sitting next to this lady who tells me she's been 7 times. I thought, what? 7 times? You know, why would you go that often? But I listened to what she had to say, and I realised she wasn't crazy. She had some wonderful stories. So finally, after spending a day and a half in Rome, we finally get to Medjugorje. And I feel this great feeling of peace. And I'm a computer programmer by profession, and so I like to analyse things. So I thought, we're in a famous place, that's making me feel great. But then I thought, we were in Rome before that, and I never felt a sense of peace there. And I thought, I'm in a small village away from a hustle and bustle of city life. But then I thought, I've been to smaller places in Australia and New Zealand and never felt that. Then I thought, it's group psychology, I'm with a group of like-minded people, and that's making me feel good. But on a pilgrimage, you do get a chance to get away from a group for part of a day, and so I still felt the peace, and so it couldn't have been a group influencing me. Then I came to my senses and realised that it's Our Lady's presence. A lot of videos have been done about what happens on a pilgrimage, so I'm not really going to talk too much about that, but I'm doing another video about some interesting and unusual things that happened on my pilgrimage, and some of the anecdotes will hopefully put a smile on your face and show that pilgrimages aren't all that serious at times. They do have their lighter moments. When I was in Medjugorje, I found I could sit through a 3-hour mass in Croatian. And remember before I said I had enough trouble sitting through a 10-minute rosary. So that had me absolutely fascinated. Despite having been to Medjugorje, and I found it to be great, my faith didn't improve for a while, and it's still not perfect. I've been 8 times since, and I just love the place. Remember I said I thought the lady was crazy for being there 7 times. Now people are saying the same about me. We're in Our Lady's school. Your life doesn't change overnight. If we are in Our Lady's school, as Ivan has said, then I must be in Year 44 remedial class. Now, if you're angry with God like I was, or you know someone who is, just be patient and keep praying. You may feel that your prayers are not getting you anywhere, But remember, if you don't pray, you'll get even less help than if you are praying. I'm doing another talk on how to get the most out of prayer from bits and pieces that I've picked up over the last 10 years. And so you'll be able to get some tips from that, hopefully. Thank you very much for listening to my talk.